Hey guys, it's Andrew BHA here, bringing you a new video. So, the great folks over at Eufy have sent me over one of their Floodlight Cam 2 Pros. This is the S330 Floodlight camera. Now, you may have noticed that I actually did this video back in 2021, November 2021, so it's been about a year and a half since I did this video. So, funny story. Eufy reached out to me recently and said, hey, would you like to do a video on the S330 Floodlight camera? I'm thinking, sure, this must be an updated version of the Floodlight Cam 2 Pro, and I would love to see what all it can do. So they sent it out to me, and I'm looking at it, and it's the exact same one that I did back in 2021. So come to find out, the Floodlight Cam 2 Pro is also known as the S330. I did not know that. So if you didn't know it, now you know. Nonetheless, we agreed that we're going to do an updated version on this video. We'll get it added into like a Homebase 3 and the Eufy app. We'll also see if we can get it integrated into Home Assistant as well, and see what all the latest capabilities are for this camera. Here we go. Alright, so you can pick this thing up from Eufy directly or even their Amazon storefront for about $299. Now that's the regular price. If you get it at about the time of this video recording, it's actually $70 off, so you can get it for $229, which is an amazing deal if you consider what all this camera floodlight can do. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so the Eufy S330 Floodlight Cam 2 Pro. There's tons of information here on the outside of the box. Has all the specs here and kind of tells you everything that's going to come inside the box. But if we slide this shell off here and we can kind of get things opened up, there's not really a lot of different items here in the box itself. There's a little box here at the back, and if we open that up, it looks like we have a USB cable. This is kind of what you use for that initial setup of the device. We also have a cloth for cleaning the camera, making sure that it stays clean. We got plenty of wire nuts and mounting screws for the installation. It comes with a hook. This little hook strap is kind of nice when you're installing it, especially by yourself, because you can kind of hang this up right where you are installing it. That way you can wire everything up while it's hanging there. That way you have both hands free. It makes things a little bit easier, like I said, especially if you're installing it by yourself. Lastly, in this little box, we got some stickers for your window, just for added security. And then, of course, the instruction manual that kind of gives you tips on installing it and all the things you have to do to get this thing added into the Eufy app. But other than that, we basically have the light camera itself. And I love this Floodlight Cam 2 Pro. I mean, so heavy duty, very well put together. We can pull the stickers off here to kind of show you what the lights look like. And of course, the top part folds up. So depending on how you're installing it, if you're installing it from up above, then of course you'll leave it all closed up and then you'll mount it right at the top. If you're installing it on like on the side of a house or on the side of a building, then you fold that up and it allows you to do the installation that way. And it makes it very easy to do. We can pull the plastic off the camera here as well, just to kind of show you what that looks like. The back part here is where the sync button is and the USB port for the initial setup that we talked about earlier. But that's pretty much it for everything that comes in the box itself. To just kind of go over the main specs on the device, this does 360-degree horizontal field of view along with 130-degree vertical field of view. This is a 2K quality camera, so it's a pretty decent quality there on the camera. It does human detection as well as tracking, so it will follow a person around as it sees them and picks them up on the camera. It will track them in its viewing area. The lighting, it does a temperature range of 3000 to 5700 Kelvin. This is a dimmable light, and it will go between cool and warm white, so you have the ability to adjust that as you would like. But this camera floodlight has it all, so you're definitely going to want to follow the rest of this video and see what all we can do with it. But let's go ahead and move on to that next step, and we'll get this thing added into the Eufy app on my phone. Okay, so I did a video about 1.5 years ago on installing the Floodlight Cam Pro 2. I kind of already mentioned that here, but I'll have the link up in the corner to that video if you want to check that one out. But it ended up dying on me. It wasn't actually that long ago, but unfortunately it was kind of out of warranty. There wasn't a whole lot I could do about it other than just kind of pay to have it fixed. But when Eufy reached out to me and said, hey, they had a new floodlight cam that they wanted me to do a video on, of course I jumped at the opportunity. Just because I loved that Floodlight Cam 2 Pro so much. I was hoping to get an updated version of that. Now again, this is the same camera that I did before, so this is really just an updated video of the same camera, but nonetheless, without going any further off into the weeds, we're going to install this camera right here on the outside of my carport. This is the exact same place that I installed it last time. In fact, I have the old one removed, so I've had just this empty socket here, so I'm ready to get something installed and mounted, so this will be perfect. The wiring actually goes through to the other side because I actually have a floodlight on the inside of the carport that kind of shows or lights up the underneath the carport as well. So it makes it kind of nice. So it made it easy to install because I was able to mount the floodlight cam here on the outside without even wiring it up yet. So I got it all mounted up, pushed the wires through. And as you can see in this next clip here, I have both lights mounted, everything was wired up, everything is ready to be flipped back on because currently I still have the breaker turned off. And then here in this last clip, if you look closely, you can see the red light flashing there. We've turned the power back on, everything looks good, so we are ready to move on to the next step and get this thing added into the Eufy app. So here we are in the Eufy app. Now my original plan was to get this thing added into Eufy and see if we could get it connected with the Homebase 3. Unfortunately, my Homebase 3 is not cooperating right now. In fact, I have a big shout out to Eufy technical support. So I had an open ticket with them. I was having some issues with my Homebase 3. It wasn't updating firmware. We went through everything. They communicated very well. We went through all the tests that they wanted to run and basically decided that the next step was to send my Homebase 3 back to them. They will get it functioning and working properly and ship it back. So they've already sent me a label. I'm shipping that bad boy off, and hopefully soon I will have the Homebase 3 back up and running, and maybe we can get that Floodlight Cam 2 added into the Homebase 3 with a follow-up video. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. In the meantime, we're going to get this camera added into the Eufy app. So we're going to hit the plus in the top corner. We got to select the device family. So that's Floodlight Camera. We'll select the Pro one here. Now we just need to scan the QR code on the back of the instruction manual box. That's that little box that came inside the Floodlight box. Basically, once we do that, it's telling us that we need to add the camera Floodlight to the app before we install it. Now, obviously, we didn't do that. We're kind of rebels in this sense. We've already mounted it. We've already got it powered on and set up that way. But that's okay. We can still do it. So we're going to hit next here. We'll hit next again. And now we are ready to hit the sync button on the back of the light. Now, underneath that waterproof rubber seal on the back, There is a sync button. You basically hold that down until you hear it make a noise and wait for it to start flashing blue on the front of the light. So it has done that, and now we are ready to add our Wi-Fi information. Make sure that you are using 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. This does not support 5 gigahertz. We'll give it a second to make that connection. And now we are able to give it a name if we want. So they have some predefined names there if you want to use one of those, or you can hit that customize down at the bottom and create your own. For now, I'm just going to choose garage. I may change it later. But we should be good to go. Of course, they remind you to put the rubber seal back in place because obviously you don't want to get moisture in there into the electronics or anything. So you want to make sure everything is sealed up good. But at this point, we have the lights installed. We have it added to the Eufy app, and we are ready to move on to the next step, and we'll go over the config settings in the app. All right, so let's take a look at all the different options that are available within the app. So here we have the camera pulled up, and of course down along the bottom you have the ability to record video, take a screenshot. You can even use the two-way audio if you want to talk to the person on the camera from the app. You have the ability to have the camera go around and do a full rotation, as well as turn the sound on and off. And if you swipe up right here, you can look at events. You can turn on the auto night vision, which I have it set by default. If you needed to, you could sound the alarm, as well as enable and disable tracking, or even recalibrate the tracking if you needed to. But if we hit the settings in the top corner, right there at the top, we can disable the camera light altogether. But if we wanted to go into motion detection, well, we can set activity zones. If we wanted to, we can also set the detection type. So I have mine set to human detection, but you could just have it detect all motion if you wanted to. You can increase the range if you want, or just leave it the standard. I'm going to leave it standard for now. I think the default settings tend to work pretty well. Under light setting, there is where we would enable the floodlight if we wanted to, or disable it, I guess, if you already had it enabled. You can set the light to come on at sunset and go off at sunrise if you want, or just have it come on when motion is detected, which is kind of how I have it set. You even have the ability to adjust what temperature you want the light to be when it comes on if motion is detected. So you can adjust the brightness as well as make it cool or warm white depending on what you like. You can also choose that same type of settings for the manual light as well. So you obviously can have different default settings for just hitting the on-off switch of the light versus the light coming on via motion detection. A lot of capabilities there, a lot of different choices. Under monitored settings is where we can set the tracking as well as preset positions. So after a period of time, the camera will go back to a preset default position. So if you want it just facing straight forward, you set that as your primary default preset position. And if the camera moves around, whether it's tracking or whether maybe you were just looking at the camera and you're moving it around, after a period of time that it's not being used, it will default back to one of those preset positions. Let's see, they have out of view detection. You can see it listed here. I'm going to enable that. Let's see, up next is video setting. So this is where you can set the watermark, or you can turn that status LED on and off if you wanted to. We can also update the recording settings, such as the recorded video length. We can set the streaming quality if we wanted to. I'm going to leave it set to auto for now. We can also set the recording quality. So obviously the better quality that you use, the more storage it's going to take up. So just kind of keep that in mind. You can enable color night vision if you want, which of course will take advantage of that floodlight at night when it's recording video. Let's see, under audio settings, we can enable or disable the microphone, which is used for that two-way audio. And we can also adjust the speaker settings right here. Under notifications is where we're going to modify the types of notifications that we get and how detailed they are. And then lastly, kind of down here towards the bottom, under general is where we can change the name if we want. I'm going to go ahead and change mine to carport. That makes a little bit more sense than just have it set to garage. You can also make changes to the camera storage, even enabling RTSP, which is what I want to do here. This might allow me to make that connection into Home Assistant utilizing RTSP. We're going to have to hit next a few times here. And of course we have to give it a username and password here, so I'll put that in here. So now that we've got our credentials put in there, we should be able to back out of this because we are ready to go as far as RTSP goes. Let's see, what else do we have under general? We got Wi-Fi settings. So if you needed to make changes to your Wi-Fi settings, you could do that here, as well as time settings, which will allow you to adjust the time zone and of course change it from a 12-hour to 24-hour clock if you needed to. But that's pretty much it as far as settings and capabilities that you can adjust here within the Eufy app. Let's go ahead and move on to the last step, and I will give you my final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts. So I got some footage here from the camera, both daytime and nighttime, and you can kind of see here, I'm just going to let them run. They look pretty good. This is a 2K quality camera. It really looks pretty nice. Again, I love this floodlight cam. I love the 360 view. The fact that it covers such a large area makes this thing super nice. With all the other capabilities, including tracking and all the motion detection, the lighting as far as being able to turn it from cool to warm white, and the various settings and capabilities that we went through, this is a pretty sweet deal. Even for $299, this is a pretty awesome light camera combo. Now, at the time of recording this video, there was this discount that gave you an extra $70 off, which made this thing even better. So hopefully you'll be able to take advantage of that. If not, again, $299, still a pretty sweet deal for this camera. Nonetheless, I'll have a link in the description below for Eufy's website. Head over there. They have tons of other products, so if you're not interested in this camera light combo, I guarantee you're going to find something that you do like. As always, I want to thank everybody for donating to my Buy Me a Coffee link. Every little bit helps. If you haven't had a chance, head over to my spring merchandise page and check out all of the Burns home automation merchandise. And if you're looking for the latest smart home gear, you're going to want to check out Smonet. I'll have a link in the description below to their website. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. And if you're looking for the latest smart window treatment, you're going to want to check out Smartwings. Their products are great, and they'll build their window treatments to fit your specifications. I'll have a link in the description below. Head over there and see what deals they currently have running. And if you're interested in buying and selling stock or maybe cryptocurrency, you're going to want to check out Robinhood. I'll have a link in the description below for that as well. If you sign up with that link, you and I both will get a free share of stock. It's a win-win for both of us. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. As always, if there are any videos out there that you would like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around.